Chapter 10. Death of a World Champion. Even though it was still warm in the evening air, I pulled on one of the hoodies I had kept from Luca around me. I had gotten it when we were poured on by the rain, and I had broken my ankle. It was one of his police hoodies, which was far too large for me, but I didn't care. I found it comforting to wear. The lights were already on at the clubhouse. I had called an impromptu meeting of the permanent members of the Happy Camper Resort, including the honorary guests of Topher, Tawny Tilbury, Jepson, Gray, Ava, and Jackson. I suspected Molly might have asked Chaz to come as well, which was okay with me. We needed all the help we could get. Hosting the large file box I was carrying, I marched into the clubhouse. The crowd quieted down as they spotted me. Setting the box down on a nearby table, I popped open the lid and pulled out a thick manila envelope, one of many. I have here everything I was given from two brave cops at the police station. They told me this was from Detective Luca Armand's desk, and it was possible evidence that a policeman named Burmer was embezzling funds from the Oaks Crossing police station. This afternoon, I made copies, and I'm going to pass them around tonight, so if anyone has their paperwork stolen, there are copies here with someone else. I want us to bring them to accountants who can see where the money is going, who can read between the lines and figure out how to bring down the corruption in our local police force. However, we cannot bring it to the local Oaks Crossing accountant. Luca did, and the accountant tipped off Burmer that Luca was investigating him. I'm a retired small business accountant. George Kershaw came forward from where he had been standing beside Thelma. I'm willing to go over the figures. Thank you. I handed an envelope to George. Who else will take one? More people came forward to take the envelopes. Topher took one as well. I can fax it over to our company accounting department. They should be able to see anything odd in short order. I nodded. Did you call for legal counsel? I did. Topher turned to address the crowd. Jepson and I have assembled a team of lawyers who have agreed to defend Conrad and Herb. They're putting pressure on the Oaks Crossing Police Department to either charge the men or let them go. We expect any changes will be made public in the morning and can start launching a legal defense. Because Jason Kennedy is very much alive, even if charges occur, Conrad and Herb should receive bail hearing where we can free them from jail. Detective Armand has also met with legal counsel. I'm still trying to contact his legal representation and find out what the charges are against him. We need to launch our own investigation, I continued, for both cases. That means interviewing Jason Kennedy and everyone associated with him to find out who put those wires in the chicken wings that Conrad and Herb barbecued. I grabbed a large permanent marker and wrote on the wall, Jason Kennedy. Then I put lines leading away from his name as I scribbled down possible people who might have motives to harm him. The wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriends of Jason's conquests, the manager, competitors in the local food competitions, and a question mark for those we don't know. I capped the marker and turned to look at the group. Alibis, motives, opportunity. I'm going to assign different people to interview different possible suspects. I will interview someone, volunteered B. No, I shook my head. I have a special job for you. You and Thelma were great at the protest for Ava and Jackson. We need another one of those. Right now, the media is talking about Oaks Crossing and how Jason Kennedy almost died twice. We have the opportunity to direct the media's attention to the unfair arrest of Conrad, Herb, and Luca. If you and Thelma can produce the biggest protest this town has ever seen, we could even make national news. Mayor Whitcomb would have to act on it and launch an investigation into our police department. On another wall, I wrote Luca's name. Under it, I put Burmer and some question marks. Burmer has help from some of the cops. He hired a number of men who are loyal to him. Luca believes that he wants to replace the chief of police. Then he would have unlimited power over the force to do with as he pleases, and no one would be looking to the budget issues or suspecting missing money. We investigate Burmer, nodded Thelma. Find out who he talks to, where he goes, what he does. More importantly, if he has things like jewelry, cars, or a home that is worth far more than what he should be making at his pay grade. I quickly wrote down the suggestion. We're gonna have to repaint these walls, noted Agatha. It needed updating anyway, Bertie told her. I'll help paint when this is all over. We can help with the protest, volunteered Ava, holding Jackson's hand. I will take over the office duties, so you don't have to worry about them, decided Mabel. I'll also look after Cookie and Cupcake while you investigate. Just drop them off at the office. That's very helpful, I agreed. Mabel had helped in the office before, so she had the experience necessary to keep the campground running smoothly. "We can trail Burmer." Oliver pointed to himself, Lionel, and Bertie. "He won't even know he's under surveillance. We can find out everything about him." Good. I lined up people to interview our suspects, giving out a list of sample questions. If anything feels odd or missing, keep digging. We need all the information we can get to solve what is happening. "I'll start the petition to fire Chief Williams and Burmer," decided Agatha. "I would sign that," Loretta agreed. "We can collect signatures and bring it to Mayor Whitcomb." "We could potentially sue the police department for wrongful arrests," remarked Topher as everyone descended into talking. I looked at him in surprise, and he hastily added, We'll double-check that with a lawyer who specializes in civil suits." "Thank you for doing this, Topher." I was grateful. I couldn't do this without you. "You are fully welcome." Topher had a bit of a sad smile. "Thelma introduced me to this girl named Mary." "Mary Albany? Who works for the Oaks Crossing Animal Shelter?" I asked. "She's nice," Topher admitted. "She's not you, though." "I'm sorry, Topher." I laid a hand on his arm. "I haven't met this Armand guy, but he better be good for you," gruffly spoke Topher. "He is." I smiled as I thought of Luca. I sobered as I remembered what it was like to be cold and alone in the jail when Molly and I were kept overnight. "We're gonna get him out," vowed Topher. I nodded, blinking back a couple of tears. Thelma came, wrapping an arm around me. "It's getting late. We should wrap up this meeting so everyone can get started on their jobs early tomorrow morning." I agreed, and Topher called for everyone's attention. Soon we had sorted out who was doing what task. Goodnights were said, and everyone filed out, going their separate ways. Molly and Chaz walked with me as I walked toward my trailer. I noticed the pair were holding hands. "Thank you for coming, Chaz," I remarked gratefully. "The more people who can help, the better." "I'm happy to assist," replied Chaz. "I talked to Luca a few times. You've invited him to play for the local softball teams. He seems like a great guy." "He is a great guy," stated Molly as she snuggled closer to Chaz. "Which everyone knows, so it'll be easy to prove his innocence from whatever this Burmer character cooks up to try to frame Luca with." "If you can think of anything else we should be doing, or if you need some extra help, let me know," offered Chaz. I nodded, fishing out my keys for my trailer as we came to the fork where Molly and I usually parted, since her trailer was further down the dirt road. I was suddenly tired from the day's events. I felt heavy from the weight of the responsibility I was under. When I thought we had a good chance of freeing Conrad and Herb, I was not so sure about Luca. There was little I could do to help him. Molly suddenly gave me a hug. "Hey, I'm sure Conrad and Herb are keeping Luca entertained. Between the three of them, they're probably partying it up in the jail." I had a half laugh at her pep talk. I think Luca secretly likes all the senior citizens around here. "It will be okay," promised Molly. I gave her another hug before letting her go. Watching Molly and Chaz walk away in the moonlight, I was happy and a little envious at the same time. Chaz would see Molly to her trailer before heading home himself. He was a gentleman. I wished Luca were here to see me home with a goodnight kiss rather than in the cold jail cell. I resolved to do whatever it took to help clear his name. Still in Luca's hoodie, I snuggled in bed with Cookie and Cupcake, hugging both little doggies close. After a restless night, I dragged myself out of bed. Even in the early morning, the heat was dragging on, and I shed the now too warm hoodie. A quick shower, breakfast, and morning walk with Cookie and Cupcake left me feeling marginally better. I dropped the doggies at the office with Mabel before heading to the clubhouse. I looked at the walls one more time, seeing the names of people who were willing to do what they could to free our friends. I wiped away a tear. There was a wonderful community of people here who had embraced me. I didn't want to let them down. Steeling my resolve, I fingered the keys of Luca's SUV. Minutes later, I was driving toward the Oaks Crossing General Hospital. Bee's niece was on duty at the lobby again, and easily gave me Jason Kennedy's room number. I thanked her and made my way down the maze of corridors. A nurse at the nursing station caught me on the floor. It was Tawny's granddaughter, Connie. "Hi, Vee! How nice to see you!" She grabbed my arm and steered me into a supply closet. "Granny told me everything last night. The police are talking to Jason again, against medical advice. One of the detectives seems to be pushing Jason to say certain things. They're recording the whole thing." "Is there anything that can be done to stop them?" I asked. "The last thing we want is for Jason to give a false statement that supports Burmer's narrative." "The doctor's on his way. He can shut it down and call security to escort them out, if necessary," Connie assured me. I sighed in relief. This is ridiculous. Since when do the police pressure people into giving statements when they're obviously not ready to give them? Ever since the chief of police came in as a patient, muttered Connie. What? I asked in surprise. He came in last night. He was found confused and wandering the streets of the town, explained Connie. I sent a sample of his blood to the lab to check for anything abnormal, but I doubt we'll find anything. The hospital lab is not like a toxicology lab. Our lab only looks for what we ask it to look for. You think he was drugged? I questioned. I think he's been drugged for a long time, nodded Connie. The guy used to be sharp as a tack and smart. The past year, Chief Williams has been slipping. He's been argumentative, confused, looking for the easy way to solve things. Some people say that he might be getting towards dementia. I might say someone has been using a dose of medication which interfered with his ability to function mentally. We'll know in a few days once any drugs are out of his system. If you find out what it is, let me know, I responded. Sure thing, she agreed. There's a commotion outside and Connie peeked out the door. Cops are leaving. I snuck a look out the opening. I could see 2 police officers walking down the hall, a security guard trailing them. One of the men had a bandage on his hand. I presumed that might be Burmer, hoping that Cookie had gotten a good bite on the man. Come on! Connie grabbed my arm. We left the closet, heading for Jason's room, where the doctor waited. Dr. Hillman, Ivy Thurman. Ivy is investigating to find out the truth about what happened to Jason and Chief Williams. I trust her to help sort out this mess. Jason isn't in a position to be questioned right now, stated Hillman. He's still recovering from the complicated heart surgery. I can't answer any medical questions. It would be a violation of his privacy rights. Maybe instead you could tell me who's been visiting him, I offered. How long did they stay? We should talk in my office where we won't be overheard, decided Hillman. Both Connie and I trailed him. Hillman offered both of us a seat before closing the door. I'm going to put security on both Jason and Williams. Then maybe they can get some rest and recovery. 3 good men are in jail because of what has happened, I commented. Jason and Chief Williams hold the key in figuring out what really happened. I will tell you what I can, but no one is interviewing my patients until I've deemed them recovered enough, a grim Hillman stated firmly. Who has been visiting them? I grabbed my cell phone, ready to take notes. Chief Williams has been visited by his wife and Detective Burmer, answered Hillman. I think Burmer was more a formality than an actual visit. He stayed less than a minute after giving his regards to the wife. Mayor Whitcomb's competition, Harlan Boggs, has been in to chat with the wife as well. Has Mayor Whitcomb been told about Chief Williams? I wondered. Don't know. I would assume that he would have been there if he had known, even just for a quick visit, sighed Hillman. I wrote Boggs' name down in connection to Burmer, wondering if they were connected. I would contact Mayor Whitcomb later to see what his views were on the recent events. As for Jason, there has been a veritable line of people in and out of my hospital wanting to see him, noted Hillman. Those who have had access are the wife Tamara, the girlfriend Kaylee, and the manager Stuart. Everyone else, his fans, the other competitors, the 5 other women claiming to be his girlfriends, have been denied access. It was bad enough when the girlfriend and wife got into it in the hall. They fought? I sought clarification. Regular screaming match, confirmed Hillman. I had to have both of them escorted out. Since the wife hasn't been fully divorced, she has legal access. What did they argue about? I inquired. I don't know, and I don't care, sighed Hillman. About an insurance payout, inserted Connie. It was something about how the insurance wouldn't pay. The wife, Tamara, called Kaylee a few names, basically blaming Kaylee, Jason, and Stu for being dumb enough to endanger Jason's life before reading the fine print. So it was an insurance scam. I wrote that down. The question is whether Jason knew about it or not, and who put the wires in his wings. It shows that Conrad and Herb had nothing to do with it, noted Connie. They're just involved by accident. As long as you can get proof, noted Hillman. You said the wife and the girlfriend were arguing, I pointed out. Perhaps if I can talk to them separately, I can get a confession out of one of them. Hillman's pager suddenly went off. He looked at it, then jumped out of his chair in alarm, heading for the door. It's Jason! Connie and I quickly followed him as Dr. Hillman ran down the corridor to Jason's private room.